Hello and welcome to the AICPA micro session called Upgrade the Financial Statement Audit with Python. This video will introduce Python and discuss the benefits of using it in the financial statement audit process, and we'll walk through an example that we developed. So first we'll talk about open source, discuss what Python is, talk about some use cases, and then go through the audit data standard examples. So what is Python? What is open source rather? Open source is source code that's available to everyone. It has flexible licenses, which means that you can use it for commercial purposes and add on to it as you like. And it provides a collaborative environment. So many different people can come together and put together these building blocks that are useful to everybody. Python is a programming language. It's very flexible, intuitive, and broadly used. You can use it in many different ways. It's very intuitive and practical, and there's a lot of industry use. And so what can you do with Python? You can use it for data cleansing and structuring and wrangling, pulling data from many different formats like PDF, CSV, Excel, Word, the web. You can use it for data analytics like artificial intelligence, text mining, visualization. You can create web applications with it, and you can perform many different types of automated processes. Some of the industries that use Python are the data science industry, other scientific industries like astronomy and biology, application security, and it's used in a lot in web development. It's actually quite heavily used in finance, not as much in accounting yet. We're hoping that that will change though. So how can Python be useful in a financial statement audit? Well, it can be used for data loading and transformation. So you extract data from different places, transform it, and then load it up to perform testing. Second example is performing that testing, so doing tests and results documentation, which we'll show you an example of today. And outside of the scope of this video is data visualization. So it's got some great ways you can actually visualize data with Python. The Jupyter Notebook is the format that we'll be showing today on how to use Python to document the code and the results. The code is written in these little cells, and then the results are displayed below. Python can be used to transform GL detail into the audit data standards format. Same with the trial balance. Above is the original format, below is the transformed format. We'll show you that in an example in a minute. And Python can be used for testing this data as well. So at the top you see the original code. At the bottom, or in the middle, we run the code with just this one line, and at the bottom is an example output results. So let's take a look at those examples. So we're going to be going step by step on how we pulled the SAP sample data from the original format into the audit data standards format. And what we did was use Python to convert using the audit data standards GL detail and trial balance tables to map to, which can actually be found here. And this is the audit data standards GL detail general ledger standard. And these were the different tables that we used, the GL detail table and the trial balance table. So what we did was using the pandas library, which is a very popular library in Python for dealing with data, especially spreadsheet type data. And we are taking the original columns from the SAP data set and converting the columns that we need to the audit data standard names. So we are standardizing the fields to the ones that we need. Then we're doing save that to a CSV file here called trial balance CSV. And then we do the same thing with the general ledger. We actually take two different files and convert them into one file and remap and map the names of the columns. So we have all of the data fields that we need to perform some of the journal entry testing that we'll be performing. And again, we save this file to a gldetail.csv. And if we want to see what those output files look like, here's what the trial balance one looks like, for example. It's saved to a CSV file, so when we open it up in Excel, here is what the data looks like. So very good. So now the benefit of putting this data into a standard format is we now have the ability to load it up and run routines that have already been written specific to the audit data standards. So you can take data from any client, from any original format. As long as you map it to the audit data standards, technically you should be able to take this core code that you've written to analyze the audit data standards and run it on this mapped data. So now let's take a look at a few of these routines. So the routines that were selected for performing on this data set are from the AICPA's Audit Data Analytics to Traditional Procedures Mapping document, which can be found on the Audit Data Analytics webpage. Here on the middle of the page, if you go to this well-hidden link, it says Audit Data Analytics to Traditional Procedures Mapping document, and that file looks like this. It's got several different tabs for the different areas of audit, and journal entry procedures includes quite a few procedures that we attempted to perform using Python on this data set. So to show what we did, we again import pandas, and I'm actually running through the live code now to show you how that works. And we're going to be loading up the CSV file for the GL detail that we just created, and the log file, which is a separate file we're analyzing against. And let's take a look at that log file. Here's what it looks like. We're basically showing just the first 5 records there. And now what we're going to do is import those test procedures. So instead of rewriting all the code again for performing the procedures, we've already written it. We're just reusing it. So to see what that looks like, here's the test procedures code. It's a little bit longer, but again, you don't really have to go and review all this. If you know how it works and you know that it works, then all you have to do is import it. So now we're going to run the first test procedure just by calling the test procedures dot name of the procedure, and then feed in the file name that we're testing. So on this one, we're checking for gaps in the journal entry ID, and you can see 12 instances were detected, and we saved the results to a CSV file. So let's take a look at what those results look like. And looks like, sure enough, we have gaps identified. The journal entry number of this guy is followed by this guy, but there should have been a few in the middle potentially, so at least we can investigate further, inquire, see if that's something that's actually an issue or not. The next test is comparing the existence completeness of the journal entry IDs between the GL and the log file. There were no instances detected, so we're good there. Now we're going to import the test2 procedures, which is just another set of tests from the same file. Looks like we're going to check for any incomplete entries, and we found 4. So if debits don't equal credits, there might be an issue with an incomplete entry. So let's see what that one looks like. Sure enough, we've got these 4 journal entry IDs that do not net to 0. So I would take a look at those and see what the issue might be. We are going to check for duplicate entries, check for round dollar amounts, check for potential issues in the posting date. Let's look for any weekend entries, none there. Nighttime entries, there's a handful to look at. Rare users and rare accounts. So with these, you can set your threshold and say if you have a user who only posts X number of times. In this case, we say if the user posted 10 or less times, we consider that a rare user. If the rare accounts posted 3 or less times, then let's see what that looks like, and potentially select some of those for testing because they could be more prone to error, could be fraud, who knows. And so here's what that output looks like. So there you have it. That's what the data and the analysis and results look like for these procedures. So if you're interested in learning more about Python and how it could be used and how you can learn how to use it, first you could install Python on your computer. It's free to download, free to install. Python.org or the Anaconda. If you Google Anaconda Python, there's a download there with a bunch of great resources. There's a lot of good training videos out there like Coursera and edX and YouTube, some free trainings on Python. Think about how Python could be used in your audit process right now. Maybe it's something you would look to add to your toolkit. Add some heavy data analytics without having to pay license fees for at least some of the things that you're looking to try to do. And then just commit to trying to use it. If you are interested in this, just commit a certain number of hours per week or per month and just play around with it, see if you can get it to work. One thing to note is the AICPA's Audit Data Analytics webpage is going to contain a step-by-step instructional document that will be a more in-depth version of what we went through in this video. For more information, you can go to the Audit Data Analytics page on aicpa.org/audit data analytics. And one last thing to mention is this code is going to be shared on the GitHub page set up by AICPA, Audit Data Analytics 2018. So if you do go to this github.com/AICPA-Audit Data Analytics 2018, you can find it, and it'll have all of the code and the example and the results that we went through in this video. So thank you very much.